One of the things, Amanda, that's really still getting under my you-know-what is the insurance companies have really gone on the attack. And when I say on the attack, is they've gone out and they continue to try to get to individuals who have been injured before they get a chance to talk to an attorney and be properly given the information that they need to make an assessment as to what they should do and how they should handle their case, right?
Right. So now we're actually seeing where people are reporting their accident right away to their no-fault carrier. And now that, carrier is immediately trying to settle the matter.
So let's just talk about the process in terms of, Amanda, when someone has an accident, how that is triggering, and it seems to be triggering these insurance companies to be more aggressive.
Right.
And they're being aggressive because what they're doing, they're not on your side. Okay, they're not out there to help you. They're not there to be the good guys. And sometimes I'll have clients say, well, the person was very nice. Okay, it's very nice. They're very nice. Call me cynical. The bottom line is they should be nice anyhow.
Right. I was just going to say that. Yeah.
And if it's a no-fault carrier, that's their insurance company. So
right.
Their insurance company should be having a conversation with them that's nice and pleasant. But the issue is that even the no-fault carrier, so let's say you're a passenger in a vehicle. And a passenger in a vehicle, Amanda, who would they have to file medical benefits through? Through what vehicle?
The vehicle that they were driving in.
Or
they were a passenger in.
They were a passenger in. So, Amanda, that situation is where the company that's providing the no-fault or the medical benefits just for medical and also for lost wages is then also potentially a company that can have liability with respect to a third-party case.
Exactly, yep.
So explain to our listeners here as how that sort of works, okay? Because I think people are confused and they'll get that call. They don't understand that that person is now trying to get them to do something very different from making sure they just get medical benefits and also get lost wages.
Right. So in this circumstance, it's a little bit of a different scenario because like you said, the same insurance company that's going to be potentially defending the matter on liability is also the insurance company that's going to be paying for the passenger's medical benefits. So that puts them in a unique position, I'll say, where they are the first point of contact for that person that's injured. And they also kind of are the first line of defense for the insurance carrier because they know this potentially could turn into a lawsuit. And they're obviously trying to avoid that.
Well, that's really, really very informative, I believe. And it's informative also, not just for people who are passengers in a vehicle. Think of it. It could be a pedestrian.
Right.
So a pedestrian, Amanda, if a pedestrian is hit by a vehicle, who do they make their medical claim to?
The vehicle that hit them.
And that's a separate part from bringing a case for conscious pain and suffering and for more than just basic economic loss.
Correct.
Right?
And I think a lot of times people don't really understand that divide, that there is a difference between your medical benefits, which we've talked about on the show a bunch before, and a third-party case for your pain and suffering. Those are two completely separate things.
So you're entitled to get your medical benefits whether or not you were negligent, whether or not they were negligent. You're entitled to get lost wages, your basic economic loss, whether or not you were negligent, whether or not they were negligent. But what's happening is the insurance companies now are taking advantage of people who don't have information. And this was, I would say, more unusual, Amanda, maybe 5 years ago, even 10 years ago. And there was one or two of the carriers that were known for doing it.
Right.
Now it's becoming rampant.
Right.
It's an epidemic, okay? And we got to get it to stop, okay? And we got to get it to stop. And we're going to have on this show we're going to get some of our elected officials, our state elected officials, because apparently the insurance companies now think that this is an advantage they can have. They can get to you, and they can get to you to sign off on a release for your pain and suffering very early on when you don't even know how hurt you are. You sign that release, you are in bad shape because it's going to be held most likely as a valid document. And you say, well, that shouldn't be. That's not fair. I'm at a very significant disadvantage. I didn't know. Well, the courts and the rules right now have not protected you. And so we have to get legislation, or at least at the very least regulations that are passed that prevent this from happening. They clearly have a conflict. A lawyer couldn't do that. Right? If we were representing two people that had opposite goals, right? And we wouldn't be able to do that.
And I think another scenario where this could come up, which could be very interesting as well, is where the defendant's insurance company and your own no-fault insurance company is the same company.
That's a really good point. So it may just happen to be that the vehicle you're in, let's say it's your own policy and it has a certain insurance company. The vehicle that hit you happens to have that same insurance company. Well, whose interest are they going to try to protect?
Right.
Are they going to protect your interest, or are they going to say, wow, look at that. We have access to our insured, who could also bring a third party against the same company, maybe not against the same policy.
Right.
And let's see if we can go ahead and talk to them. And let's see if we can sweet talk them into signing off on something that really isn't reasonable, isn't fair. And, Amanda, you really laid that out really clearly. And I think it's time, it's got to stop. And we're going to come on this show and we're going to scream and yell about it until there's a change made. And what we want you to do, folks, is to know this. You're in an accident, pick up the phone and call us. Okay? Now, we may not know if you suffered a serious injury at that point. We're okay with that. We're okay taking out time to make sure that you're not misinformed, that you are informed, that a big company that is looking to go ahead and just protect themselves, not you, isn't taking advantage. And so the best thing you could do is pick up the phone and call us. And we will give you instructions. We will tell you what your rights are, who you have to file with the no fault. We'll take that time. Even if it turns out you didn't have a serious injury, we'd rather you err on the side of caution. Pick up the phone and call us. Right. And you could always get us at 631-654-4900. That's 631-654-4900. You can get us on the web at
myinjuryli.com. Again, that's myinjuryli.com.
And it really would be our pleasure to prevent them from taking advantage of you.